Today on CityCast Denver, we're talking about a mystery surrounding some bridges, the Broncos, and the mayor's big bond. Plus, a Republican got caught in a lie, and Governor Polis actually never liked that bridge that was his idea in the first place. Plus, all our wins and fails of the week. Today is Friday, July... What day is it? What day is it? Does anyone have the day?
Today is
July
the 25th.
25th. Today's Friday, July 25th. I'm Paul Karolyi. Here's what Denver's talking about. Welcome back to CityCast Denver, the show about the city that has the opportunity to do the funniest thing possible and change our minds about the bridge.
What?
Because 94% of people in that survey said that they actually don't like this idea that Polis put forward to do this elevated pedestrian walkway. And then he did the most craven thing possible and has flip-flopped and now is against the walkway that was his idea, demonstrating a total lack of leadership. So what if we all were like, actually, we want the bridge now?
To watch him squirm?
To see what he does.
I mean, producer Olivia was like, is he trolling us? And it kind of felt that way a little bit, the way he positioned himself as the guy that didn't want the bridge all along.
Yeah, I mean, I think what he's doing is he's like trying
pulling
to
out the
listen to
handcuffs. Did you see that?
Yes.
Like pulls out handcuffs and says, you'll have to chain me to this before a bulldozer comes and builds the bridge or whatever. And I was like, what universe is this?
It was very corny.
It was super corny.
Theater.
Sorry?
It was theater.
I mean, yes, it was.
He's not good at theater, though. He's good at he leans into his nerdiness, which we like. This was not that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bizarre. Big classic Polis moment he gave us this week. The handcuffs. Very weird.
Yeah. Along with I feel like an AI generated image of him in front of the bridge or something.
I didn't see
I don't know. He does love those. He loves AI.
He's doing that too. But anyway, folks, let's get a campaign going. Bring the bridge back.
No, Paul.
We like the bridge now.
No, we don't.
The Polis Spite Bridge, folks. We could do it.
How did you feel about the bridge, Kalyn?
Oh, boy. How did I feel about the bridge? Well, as an artist and as a public art piece, Denver does like to spend money on public art, and sometimes it's obnoxious, and sometimes all the times I wish it would go to housing. But because I'm an artist, I benefit from the amount of money our city and state spends on art. So I like it as a public art thing. However, the whole access thing is like
the presentation that it was going to make things more accessible.
Yeah, that's a crock. And also like the wording around this making that area more safe or family friendly just feels like very anti-poor people, very sweeping homeless people, which, they do in that area, in that park all the time. They love to fence off the grass when they deem it's time, and it just drives me nuts.
Yeah, Kalyn, that makes sense, but it is hurting my new pro-bridge campaign, the Bring Back the Bridge effort. Sure. So I'm going to have to stop you there.
Okay.
Well,
yeah. I mean, now that he's not about it, like I kind of am. Bring it back. Yeah. Bring it back.
Yes. Campaign starts here. Bring back the bridge.
No.
We all love the bridge, Bree.
No.
Okay.
I still don't love the bridge.
All right.
But I'll finally be able to get to the top of the stairs.
All right. Well, you've heard their voices. I'll introduce everybody. Bree Davies is with me as usual. Hey, Bree.
Hi.
We're here in the beautiful Dude IDK studios in 5 Points. Nice sunny day. We're in the upstairs, so you might see some natural lighting coming through these windows.
2 studios, yeah.
If you're watching on YouTube, which you should do because it's awesome. It looks good. It's a good thing. Like and subscribe. Smash that like button. I never said that for real. Sometimes you say that as a joke.
But maybe you really mean it because you need people to.
Please smash the like button.
Please like us.
And our guest this week, she's an activist and a musician whose band Wheelchair Sports Camp is curating an Untitled artist takeover at the Denver Art Museum tonight.
That's right.
Welcome back to the show, Kalyn Heffernan.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Kalyn, I have to point out that your Untitled event is in direct competition with what could be the last underground music showcase this weekend.
I am aware.
You've participated in this festival before. How do you feel about this head-to-head competition?
It's been hard for me to like grieve the end of the UMS because I've just been so buried in this art show, but I've been dreaming and scheming on this art show for almost 2 years now. So like, it's my priority. And it just so happens that falls on the same weekend, but it's also the same weekend as the ADA celebration. It's also Disability Pride Month. It's also like the most popular, busy weekend of the summer. Like everybody's having a wedding this weekend. So I'm competing with everything right now.
Breathe UMS?
Yeah. Well, it's 3 days, to be fair.
Yeah. So I guess people can do it all.
Your show runs from 6 to 10.
It's true. You could even go to the UMS,
hit the UMS after that. Absolutely.
At the late show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll be there on Sunday because my husband is playing with his band Rubedo. But he'll be also, full disclosure, he's part of the performance at the Untitled exhibit as well. So
yes.
That's important.
Yeah.
Important disclosure.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I have my brother-in-law, I don't think is a big music person, but when he heard it was the last UMS, he was like, oh, we got to go, which is the opposite response that I would have thought people would be having. I just wanted to share that. That was like exciting for him. This is the last one. You got to go.
I mean, I feel like sometimes that's the response of like, oh, I've been meaning to go to something. And now I guess this is the last time. It would have been nice if you went for how many years? 25 years before. But this could be a fun party,
Maybe
they might save it.
He could
bring
be
back the UMS.
That one ticket sale.
Screw the bridge.
Him and 5 of his friends, tell your friends, tell their friends. That's how it works.
Screw the bridge, bring back UMS.
Yeah, fund the UMS.
All right, before we get to our top story, we got a little bit of business. If you haven't heard, we have a membership program.
We do.
It's it's a cool thing to be a part of. You can become a CityCast Denver neighbor, support us with just a little bit of money every month, maybe the cost of a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Gosh, that coffee's expensive these days.
I know. I think I just paid like $7 for a nice coffee.
I'm sorry. I didn't even want to say this. This is just in the copy. I feel like this is what everyone always says about these membership programs.
I know that's
kind
true.
Of
it is kind of cliched.
Like, oh, the price of a cup of coffee. You can do this thing.
You and I were talking yesterday about cool stuff we're going to be doing with membership. And if you're a member, you'll get special invites to things that nobody else gets. And so that's on the horizon for the next couple of months. So join and you can find out more.
Also, when you become a member, we ask you if there's a local business or organization you want to shout out, and we put those in our newsletter every week. Yeah. And I wanted to share one because I just loved this from Grace M. Recently became a member and wanted to shout out the Longmont Dairy, a family-owned milk and food delivery service that still uses old-fashioned glass bottles. I am also obsessed with their cold brew, and their eggs are cheaper than any grocery store.
Yeah. My brother and my sister-in-law get Longmont Dairy delivered, and I'm with Grace on the glass bottles. Also, me and newsletter editor Peyton Garcia are weird adults that love to drink large glasses of milk, and Longmont Dairy's milk is amazing. So, great shout out.
Got to get that milk. Thanks, Grace. Thanks for becoming a member. Become a member today at membership.citycast.fm. All right, our top story today. The bond, the bridges, and the Broncos. There are some debates heating up finally over what's in and what's out of Mayor Johnston's big bond package. And he's hoping to put this in front of voters in November, but City Council has to approve first. They're voting on August 4th. So this next week is when these debates are really going to be happening. And I just a few minutes ago refreshed my phone and saw that someone is circulating a petition now around getting some of these bridge projects changed, like changing around what's in there.
Really?
So this is like firmly something people are fired up about right now. And so we're going to talk about one of these debates specifically. The Broncos and the bridges. Probably the biggest ticket item in the bond is this 8th Avenue viaduct, which is over Barnum Yard, where we know that the Broncos are buying up land. Thanks to some reporting from Business Den, it seems like they want to build a new stadium there. And Kalyn, I wanted to start with you in that. You live right near Barnum Yard.
I live right there.
How do you feel about these rumors, these reports of the Broncos thinking about building a new stadium there?
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about it. I mean, I see the train yard every day, and it's like one of my favorite things to look at.
What do you look
'Cause
at when you look at the train yard?
yes, it's
The
bad.
ruthless graffiti
The
kings.
graffiti,
Yeah.
the decay, like the things that I just love. And yeah, there's so much history like on that little, you know, most of that like block is pretty new, and I live in newer affordable housing that was rebuilt, but the Buckhorn Exchange is still there, and the train yard is still there, which has just a ton of history. So thinking about it being a stadium is sad, and I do wonder the impacts. I am a pretty big little Bronco fan.
I was
so-
gonna say you're also a Broncos fan.
but also it's not far from me, so it's pretty annoying to think that like we have to build this new one.
When the current one is not that far, is what you're saying.
Right, and it seems like it's still pretty massive and has all the LED screens, and they still pummel so much money to like upgrading it all the time. So yeah, I'm not thrilled about the idea, and I just think the impacts are going to be hard to know, and for like decades. Talked to my coffee shop this morning, Tonatzin, shout out, and just thinking about like, could it be good for businesses? Will it be good for residents? And yeah, I just don't trust that on a grand scale that it's gonna help the neighborhood by any means.
Well, I bet it helps some people. I mean, I can imagine like the Buckhorn Exchange. People would, make a day out of it. Go to a Broncos game, have a classic Denver day. I can just imagine people from the suburbs having that thought and be like, oh, of course I'll stop at the Buckhorn Exchange, get a giant bison steak and see the bros
but like
march down the field.
The foot traffic could be a significant benefit, right? Traffic, commerce. However, I'm convinced, and I've lived in that neighborhood for over 10 years, when they rebuilt a lot of things and promised that, they would keep it affordable, is like everything around that, the prices has skyrocketed. So like, I don't know, will Buckhorn Exchange be able to stay there if the stadium goes,
Can their prices get higher?
Can their prices...
Do they own their building? I mean...
like Santa Fe, all the businesses on Santa Fe that I know have a really hard time staying there. It's super expensive, even more than it has been, And so it's like, sure, it might bring more people every Sunday, but will those businesses be able to afford to stay and host that amount of people? That's where, yeah, on a bigger level, I'm just like, I don't know.
Bree, you did an interview with some of the reporters from Business Den
Yeah.
who have been uncovering this story. What do we know about what the Broncos are trying to do?
Well, yeah. So I believe the reporters at Business Den got a tip from someone inside that was like, hey, some land is changing hands under these LLCs that seem to all be connected to the Broncos. And they did some investigating, and that was true. There was land all around Burnham Yard, and it's this area that like Kalyn and I both live over there, so it's easy to picture, but I think it's just hard to kind of see. It's where all these, it's like 6th Avenue, I-25, it all kind of crosses over this Sun Valley West Side area. So it's hard to picture, but Denver Water was also part of this. They own land over there. It seemed like from the reporting that the Broncos are piecing together a bigger section of land to build the stadium, because initially the Burnham Yard section is not very big. It's like, I think they described it as sort of like a crescent. So they need to sort of piece together more land. But that's what these reporters uncovered, was that Denver Water, the Denver Broncos, and the city of Denver were meeting on these Zoom calls talking about this project. And the other interesting piece was, I think it was from Denver Water, the letters that were going out to surrounding landowners being like, hey, we're maybe going to buy your land. And if not, eminent domain.
Hey, by the way, FYI, the concept of eminent domain exists. We're not saying anything.
We're not threatening you with eminent domain, which is where your land can be taken. I mean, you can be given, quote, fair market value for it if it's like in the public right of way or like could be used for a larger I mean, there's all these different things around it. It's very controversial. I will just say that. So
signed Broncos country.
Love Broncos country, which is also kind of what they're going to be leveraging here, right? Is diehard Broncos fans wanting to keep the team here at what cost?
Yeah. And that's where this gets interesting because our mayor is a diehard Broncos fan himself.
And he has made it a point in many public statements.
Yes. He said at his State of the City speech this week, he said, blah, blah, blah. We are trying to keep our neighborhoods great, preserve the identity, but we're going to try to grow. And yes, we will get a long-term deal done to keep the Denver Broncos in Denver. So this is a priority for his next 2 years as mayor.
What about that like power, that vacant
The power station?
Yeah, why can't it go there?
I don't know where the
Zuni Street plant, the Devil's Castle.
Yeah, that's
too small.
Is it a Superfund site? Just put it there.
I think it will be once they start. I don't know what the future is for that. I don't know if they've determined that, but it's all part of that same area.
I know, but there's not like residencies there.
But there's a lot of the neighborhood has pushed to preserve that because it's one of the original buildings, and Sun Valley doesn't have a lot when it comes to historic structures. So.
Speaking of the mayor, let's get to the intrigue around the bond.
Yeah.
So the specifics, if you haven't heard about this, there are these bridge repair and maintenance projects on 6th Avenue and 8th Avenue. And collectively, these projects in the bond amount to about $140 million, including one of them that alone is the number one biggest ticket item in the bond package that voters will likely be voting on in November. For $90 million for 8th Avenue to remove the viaduct and make it a street, like a ground level street through Barnum Yard. So
that part is like really great to me. That's the struggle I'm having is, you know, that bridge so well, right? It's the bridge
they just paved it.
And it connects our neighborhoods.
Last week.
But the grade on it, right? As a pedestrian, it's like this. So again, if you use a wheelchair, good luck crossing that bridge. So the fact that they could bring this down to grade and reconnect our neighborhoods, to me, is one of the benefits of it that makes it complicated. I don't know if this is the right funding mechanism for it, but this has been talked about for a long time.
I would almost feel less safe.
At ground level?
I do cross that viaduct often, and it is a hill, but I have a power wheelchair, so I'm not struggling. But it's sketch as it is, and right now, like, the median is just like, you know, cement barricades, and the idea of being like on a sidewalk without that cement barrier, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm so used to it, but I don't know.
That was where the benefit was to me, was seeing this project that they've been talking about for a long time. Again, reconnecting the neighborhoods by not having us pass over something, but actually be connected. But again, I don't know if the bond is the right way to pay for it, would be the question.
Well, some certainly think so. Some, I mean, this is a competition between projects. And the reason why this came to light to me was I got contacted by some transportation activist types this week who have been thinking about what projects are getting in and what projects are not. And they're seeing these bridges and they're thinking, well, there are all these other projects across the city. Like, there's no bike-related projects in the bond, and yet we're doing these two that just so happen to be near where the Broncos stadium is likely going to be built. And one of them used the phrase secret subsidy for the Broncos in this bond. How do you feel about that allegation?
I mean, I wouldn't call it a secret. That was the interesting part about the Denverite reporting, was like, Councilperson Sarah Parody was like, hey, weird that this is happening around the Broncos Stadium conversation. And the city was like, yeah, those are connected, kind of. And she was like, okay, then why is this the first time we're hearing about it? So I don't think it's a secret subsidy as much as it's just like, maybe this is a way to bypass the conversation about it, which didn't happen. And I appreciate transit advocates for pointing that out. I just think that, like, it was not a good, the city did not go about this in a good way. It does not look good. It feels secretive for sure. And it does feel to the benefit of who owns the Broncos?
The Walton family, the Walmart owners.
People that could pay for this easily themselves in some capacity. But I see where transit advocates. The other thing I think we should point out too is transit advocates are like, hey, there were 3 tiers of projects, right? In terms of like what was going to be decided on. And these bridge projects were a much lower priority than some of these other transit projects, but magically they made it to the top.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the like
one of them was deemed tier 2 by the connectivity subcommittee. And we're really getting in the weeds now.
This is very weedy.
Strap in. The connectivity subcommittee for the bond, which were all people that the mayor brought in to like help
make these decisions.
Pare down the list of projects. But I don't know. I think you're right about the transparency point around the Broncos in the city. Like the Broncos' interest is in this all being very opaque, I think.
For sure.
Because they want to get the public support as much as they can, because we know these arenas are not good money-making propositions on their own right. And it
gets real messy when constituents know the details.
Yeah. And so they want to leverage the support they have from their fans in order to get some public support. They want to make these threats about moving outside the city or moving to another city in order to get support. And here we are with the mayor who loves the Broncos, and his administration's not really talking about what exactly the conversations are with the Broncos organization and what level of support they're offering or pledging, if any.
Yeah. It doesn't feel good. The opaqueness does not feel good. And again, we're talking about a neighborhood, the Sun Valley and the West Side, that has historically been ignored and has not had investment. And so when investment does come that way, which has been slowly creeping over the last decade, like looking at things like Meow Wolf being built there and stuff, there's a lot of skepticism, and it's warranted for what is the purpose of what's going to happen and who is this going to ultimately be for.
Mm-hmm. Was there anything else about the bond that you two are watching? Any other projects in specific or issues?
I thought that it was really interesting that Councilwoman Alvidrez, who represents like Athmar Park, Platt Park, sort of a next door neighbor to this project, was like, hey, but what about the Alameda, like Broadway area? Mm-hmm. That needs so much infrastructure help. And it is such a thoroughfare. And she's like, how is this kind of getting ignored over these 2 other, I love the 8th Avenue Bridge. It's the way I get in and out of my neighborhood, but it's kind of piddly compared to like Alameda is a high traffic, really high traffic area. So I think there were some valid points made of like the priorities here feel a little bit unclear.
And aren't they going to put a stadium there?
Yes, you're saying there might be a secret subsidy for the National Women's Soccer League stadium?
Correct. Is it that secret? Because if I know about it, it might not be that secret, but... That's going to be I'm just going to live in this mecca of stadiums. I'm going to be like Ball Arena, Broncos country, and then soccer. Is that real?
That's where you're going to live.
Is that my neighborhood?
That's your neighborhood.
That's where I live.
Yeah, cool. I don't know how you take advantage of that. How you ride that wave.
Wow.
Start printing up merch. Go all the teams.
Bootleg, baby. The bootleg baby.
Another big part of it obviously was the Park Hill Park conversation.
Yeah.
And we had that conversation earlier this week with Denver Parks and Rec Executive Director Jolan Clark about like, why does this project get so much money?
$70 million.
$70 million.
Yeah, I think I'm not the only person who's thinking about that $70 million and wondering about the developers who are offering to put up all that money themselves, who the city voted against, and now we have to pay for it ourselves instead of doing all these other projects that might be also awesome.
But I've also seen Councilwoman Chantel Lewis, that's her district, saying, hey, we deserve some investment here. This is historically we have not been invested in. So can we have this little bit of the bond or this big part of the bond? So it's hard. It's every neighborhood for themselves, but also looking at the bigger picture of the city. It's a tough call.
My proposal did not make it in.
What was that, Paul?
Roger the elephant, big blue elephant in Sloan's Lake. I wanted a third big blue animal. And they were like, apparently no one else liked that idea.
I'd like the city to purchase Lakeside and fix it.
Yeah, oh, man.
That would be mine.
I feel like that needs to be a state thing. We keep talking about this. I like this idea, but it's like, since it's not in Denver.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe they need to buy the land
just
somehow.
Barely.
It's just barely.
Have you been lately, Kalyn?
No, not lately, but I grew up over there. So, and my dad grew up across the street from it when it was a dirt road and before Berkeley Park.
Oh, Jerry.
So, oh, Jerry.
Long time. It's long, and it's, yeah.
Well, like I mentioned, council is set to vote on this bond package proposal on August 4th. They'll be deciding whether or not to put it on the ballot in November. Then the real fight begins. We'll obviously be talking about this a lot, so we need to hear from you. What projects are you excited about? What projects are you bummed about? And leave us a voicemail. Send us a text, 720-500-5418. Again, that's 720-500-5418. We're going to go to a break and come back and talk about politics. All right, we're back. Our hot topic this week is immigration, with ICE arrests in the region up 305%, according to the Colorado Sun. But thanks to some brilliant reporting from past guest and friend of the show, Chase Woodruff of Colorado Newsline, the arguments in favor of Trump's immigration crackdown are looking flimsier than ever. One of the local champions of this policy, U.S. Representative Gabe Evans, congressman out of District 8 up north, he reportedly, according to Chase, has been misrepresenting his family's history. Chase did some archival research and he looked at government records that show that Evans's grandfather did not enter the United States from Mexico legally, as he has claimed many, many times. This was quite interesting, I thought. What did you two think of this reporting?
I mean, it was only a matter of time to me. Like, I was surprised that Gabe Evans was going to continue this narrative, knowing full well us reporters have nothing better to do than make FOIA requests. But that's what it took. It took Chase Woodruff just doing some digging to discover that this argument that Gabe Evans has been making about there's a right way to immigrate is clearly not the way that his own family got here. And his own family has spoken out against him. In this narrative, which I thought was really interesting.
I don't know how Chase did it, but he found immigration a form that I guess Evans's grandfather, Cuauhtemoc Chavez, filled out in like 1943 that both showed some misrepresentations from Evans today and also a criminal record. So like, I guess he did he was like accused of burglary or something after coming into this country, which Evans has said that he has come in legally the right way. He came in legally the right way. But yeah, crazy good reporting and just fascinating. Kalyn, what did you think?
Yeah, the legalities about immigration just make me mad. And, this is northern Mexico. So like, this is part of Mexico back in the day. So like, to cross legally, like, is just another crock. And I know people and families that have been here for decades upon decades and have spent tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars to do it legally. And like, and they're still working at it, so I don't think there's really any right way to do it. And that Gabe guy. I mean, did you see his commercials?
No, what commercials?
They were bad. I just remember when he was campaigning, I'm like, who is this Gabe Evans guy? And I called Bree. I was like, he can't be the descendant of the Evans, the other Evans, right?
Like, the Mount Evans family.
The other Evans, yeah.
The governor, the territorial governor.
Yeah.
I see the word Evans and I'm like,
but it was apparently for other reasons. Because again, he's been campaigning on this for years. There is, my family's the shining example of the perfect immigration story. And it proved to not be true at all.
I wonder if he knew. That was my takeaway from the reporting was like, because I think, I don't know. My grandfather's, what borders he crossed when and what criminal. I know some bad stuff about him, to be honest. Like, I'm not exactly going to be out here campaigning on my grandfather's choices from 60 years ago. That part is weird, honestly. But I don't know. I wonder if he knew. I
agree, Paul. And I think that was kind of clear to me in the story was like so his aunt, I think Jennifer Chavez is her name, came out against him or against his campaign and said, hey, my nephew, I love him very much. He's running on this false story. I also think his rhetoric is dangerous around other issues. But she also said he didn't know his grandfather. He didn't know him. He didn't really have. So I could see where we self-mythologize. Everybody does. It's it's like when you hear someone say like, oh, I'm a direct descendant of this king or whatever. And I'm like, come on, we're all like peasant. I don't know. I'm always like, my family was like probably a bunch of potato farmers in Ireland. I don't think we were from this, or like my family has this tartan and all these the mythology. And if you're in a position like public office, that's when those stories are really good. And you could probably pull any politician's story and poke some holes in it when they talk about their origin story.
Elizabeth Warren, famously, in her Native American, I don't know, her Cherokee uncle or whatever it was.
Yeah, that is such a white person descendant thing, is like the part Cherokee thing for some reason. I don't know why that tribe is the one that gets that so much. But again, it could happen to any of these folks. But part of it is storytelling is what sells, right? Whether you're in a band, we've talked about this a lot with like working with bands for a long time. You have to have a good story. You can't just be like, we met on Craigslist and started a band. Nobody wants to hear that. You want to hear how you ran into somebody at a party and you both started talking about this band and it made you come together and create this incredible music. Same thing for politicians. I came from this lineage and this is what inspired me to do this thing. And that's why my family did it the right. Like, so I'm not like dismissing him and being like, it's okay, but it's something we all do. It's just, this is a kind of one of those situations where like, I don't know if I would have gone that deep on this story.
But he really was hitting it really hard. I mean, here's a quote from Evans. This is from Chase's article in a 2024 debate. Quote, "You need to go stand in that line and do it the right way. Do it the legal way. So you're not leapfrogging over those folks like my grandfather who did it the right way and did it the legal way."
Yeah. Which is such a myth in itself. This broken system being there's one line, you just get in it.
Yeah.
You wait your turn. You pay your money and you fill out your forms and you study the Constitution or whatever the thing is they make you do that even most Americans probably couldn't do. It's just a myth. There isn't a right way that's easy. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out with the race, because I believe Yadira Caraveo, who he unseated for CD8, I think, is she a child of immigrants as well? I feel like she's got not a similar story, but she has campaigned on that as well. And her stance on immigration conversations has been controversial too, I think, from the Democratic perspective, but it will be interesting.
She totally abandoned her party and took Republican positions because she thought that her district wanted her to.
So maybe she's going to have a better chance in this race now to win back those voters if they don't feel like Gabe Evans was telling the truth. I don't know. I mean, truth is subjective as if people care about it now. So.
Maybe. That's my question too, is will it matter? Will it matter in the race to come? Next year, there's going to be some primaries in June and then obviously the general in November. I don't know if this is going to matter to Republicans who like the Trump policy.
Yeah.
Like if he's supporting the policy that they like,
who cares?
What does it matter what about the story that he's telling to justify it, I guess? Yeah. Like, does hypocrisy matter to anyone anymore in politics? I mean, not for the people that support you, I don't think.
Isn't that how you get elected?
To do hypocrisy? Intentional hypocrisy? I don't know. I mean, maybe to independents. The Democrats, you mentioned Yadira Caraveo. I was thinking about another one of his challengers, Manny Rutinel, who is by far the leading fundraiser of the Democrats running to challenge Evans. So, he's also the one that I know. So I texted him last night, what did you think about this Evans story? And Rutinel, he is the son of a single mother who immigrated from the Dominican Republic. And he told me, Congressman Evans has been lying to voters in CD8 since day one. He has been weaponizing a fake story about his background to demonize our immigrant neighbors. As his own family shows, we're a nation of immigrants. And when folks hear my story, they tell me, Manny, you must be Gabe Evans and Trump's worst nightmare. That's because my mom came to America to give us the American dream. We worked hard every day for this country, and she got to see me both ways. And she got to see me both work the fryer at McDonald's and graduate from Yale Law School. That's the American dream.
Again, great story.
Yeah.
Right?
Similar myth making.
Is that going to matter to the Gabe Evans voters? Would they jump to Manny Rutinel? I don't. Whether his policies, I don't think that they align.
Yeah.
With Rutinel and Evans's policies are probably very different. So I don't know if that will matter so much. That might differentiate him from other Democratic challengers, but I don't know.
Well, at some point, Manny and the other Democrats should be talking about what their policy proposals are, because I think that's we've been talking about this a lot on the pod. Is what is the Democrats' message on immigration? Because it seems like I haven't really heard it's something new, except from our mayor, who's got a very optimistic, very outcomes-oriented policy stance on immigration, very much like immigrants help specifically with the economy, which is nice. You focus on outcomes. That was kind of getting back to what you were talking about, Kalyn, about all these rules, all this talk about process. Like, what does this mean? Why aren't we talking about like people and outcomes? Because the Republicans, their message on that is very much focused on outcomes in the economy, taking our jobs. Mm-hmm. That resonates with some people.
Yeah, the taking our jobs thing, the jobs that no Americans really want to do either. That's a whole other conversation, though.
Taking our jobs.
Mm-hmm. Independents, apparently there's a CBS poll, this is also from Chase's article, that said that support for Trump's immigration plans has fallen, and a narrow majority of Americans now oppose this deportation program as we've seen it play out.
Yeah, I think that that's really interesting. And I only see that majority growing because, again, I don't think folks were in reality about what it would mean when Trump started deporting literally anyone. I read a really, really awful story about a teenager who was deaf and mute who was picked up by ICE, and for 25 days he was held with no communication. No one communicated with him. And when he was brought home finally, his whole neighborhood apartment complex came out to support him. But I just thought, that's not who you think about when you think about this narrative that they've created, that we're only deporting the criminals. We know that's not true now. And I think that's only going to continue to push people against Trump's policies as it tears apart more families and more neighborhoods and more communities. But
I do wonder if that's the thing, if it's that line about criminals or not criminals who you're deporting. Because that seems to have been, that's what Jared Polis, the governor, the line he's drawn, which has been controversial here among, liberals. But I wonder if that's the thing that's turning people away. Or the abandoning due process. Right. That the Trump administration is doing, not giving people, a chance at a trial and just putting them on planes.
Taking them out of a situation where their children are just left there. Really, really awful things that I don't think people were picturing when they said we're going to deport only the criminals.
I mean, yeah, so many of us were like, you know what this means. And I've seen so many people that were like, we voted for Trump and then he took my husband. I didn't know it was going to be like that. And it's like, what do you mean?
What did you think it was going to be?
And I think, the visibility and their outwardness of deporting people right now, and that big Showtime movie they did, putting everybody on the plane to El Salvador. I mean, I think for a lot of people in their isolated Republican communities haven't had to see that impact, and I think the more and more outward they are about it, it's going to continue to bite them in the behind.
One last quote from Chase's article before we leave this topic, because this was my favorite piece. You were talking about Evans's aunt, Jennifer Chavez. Mm-hmm. So I'll just read a piece because Chase called her up. And from his article, when asked about another line from Evans's campaign announcement email in which he said that his mother, Rebecca Chavez, quote, thought she would spend her whole life in a one-room hut with a dirt floor in Juarez, Mexico, Jennifer Chavez burst out laughing. We were raised in a middle-class neighborhood in El Paso, she said. We went to Eastwood High School, which was predominantly Caucasian. To this day, none of us are fluent in Spanish. Isn't that funny?
It's just such a how much he's done the myth making versus the reality, which I think what she said reflects what a lot of people's experiences are in America. Mm-hmm. Especially in a town like El Paso, that has got to be my dad lived there as a child because he's a military brat. People come through there all the time. Or I think about cities like Brownsville or, I appreciated her candor there to be
she sounds like an awesome lady.
She does. Also, I think she's identifies as queer because that was one of the other issues was she was like, my nephew's rhetoric is really dangerous for people like me. But I just appreciated her candor. This not only is not a real story, this is the real story, which I don't know. Not to say people don't have that experience that he described, But I liked that she was like, let's pull this down to reality a little bit. A lot of us have this experience.
Yeah.
So
that resonated with me because it was like, that's a Colorado story to me. I don't want to speak for my wife's family.
I was just going to say,
that's my wife's family story.
That's
her family, Mexican family, Chicano family, and her grandmother intentionally did not teach her kids Spanish.
Yeah.
And like kind of separated herself, wanted to assimilate more into the white culture.
It is such a
North
Colorado story.
Yeah.
One of my best friends, David Casados, who's been on the show, born and raised in Pueblo, same thing, huge Mexican family. 2 generations now don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
It's just
it's fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciated that she told the story.
Yeah.
Well, my grandfather, who did come here legally, was a mafia man.
Oh, yeah?
Was a criminal. And he also did not teach any of my family his native languages. Just had to throw him in there.
Sorry to hear that. What would that have been? Italian?
Greek.
Greek?
Via Albanian.
Greek
Yeah.
mafia.
On which side?
My mom's, of course.
Oh, on Carrie. Okay. Oh, that's so funny.
Of course.
All right, well, we'll leave it there. One more break, and then we'll be back with wins and fails. And we're back. Time for the best way to end the week. Rocky Mountain highs and lows, a.k.a. wins and fails. Each of us brought a recent local something that we think is a win and another we think is a fail, and we're going to talk about them. And I'm going to go first.
Go for it.
My fail is kind of like a fail, because the National Women's Soccer League franchise, the pro soccer team that is starting up next year, they're going to build the stadium we were talking about earlier. They revealed their name and their branding. And honestly, I struggled with calling this a fail or not, because it was just such a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
They have revealed that their name is Denver Summit FC. So like
Okay.
the summit of a mountain.
So boring.
That's it.
So boring.
And the branding is they got a little crest, and it's green and it's orange, or it's red rocks red and it's yellow.
Right.
And looks like it could be on a Patagonia pullover.
Yes, I do want to give credit to our producer Olivia Jewelove, who said they could have gone Cotopaxi and they went Patagonia. Like,
it's a good take.
very easy, just very easy colors, just very not there was
Not making any enemies.
no, and
Just kind of bland.
also just boring. I thought it looked like an IPA label. I was like, I would wear a jersey because I'm proud to be from Denver, but
I probably still will.
I don't know.
Not saying I'm not going to still be excited about this team when it starts and want to watch the games because I love sports, but
I mean, just think about what's your favorite era of Denver Nuggets jersey?
Oh, I mean, of course, the rainbow
Skyline.
City skyline.
Iconic.
It's iconic. It's bright. It's like
it's bold.
It's retro. It's I would also say like the baby blue era. I'm thinking about the Carmelo times and stuff of like our age group.
That aged, and now I don't like it. At the time, I was like, this is so much better.
Than the rainbow?
Than the navy blue and the gold. And now I'm looking for that navy blue and gold. And I'm not gonna touch my light blue one, my Carmelo Anthony one, or my Nene for a while. Because it's just
But
faded.
those elicit feelings and conversations, and this just felt like a real flat rollout to me.
It was like meh. I'm sure it will elicit those feelings. Like once the team, once there are players, once they have games, we will all form associations with this name and this team.
Yeah.
Great. But
I don't know. Nothing beats the Nuggets, though, to me. It's so bizarre to people outside of Denver where they're like, what does that mean? Why are you, what a weird name, but it's like
the Nuggets name?
Yeah, I mean, because it is kind of it has multiple meanings, obviously, but it feels to me just a little bit, they're just, I don't know. The Summit is just so bland.
And also misleading. Are we going to a summit? Are we doing?
We're going to the top of the standings.
Like a retreat. When I think of summits now, I'm like
a conference.
The Malta Summit. Yeah.
I'm not thinking sports.
The Denver conference.
That's funny. Anyway, that's my fail. Kalyn, how about you? What was your fail this week?
Oh Lord. Yeah, I think I said earlier, but I think my fail is, and now that the UMS is almost here, I haven't been able to really grieve or have feelings about my own feelings, tune into them about what it means that this is the last one that for now or whatever the
the last UMS for now.
So yeah, I'm a little bummed about it. I think by Sunday I'll be back in tears, but right now I don't have time.
Don't have time right now. Yeah, I feel like I don't know how I'm going to feel till it's over. But we'll see. It's kind of a bummer.
Bree, how about you? What's your fail?
Well, I had two. One really quick was I was scrolling Zillow as I do. And my fail goes to real estate agent Martin Wilson of Homestead Real Estate for his Zillow listing about my old neighbor Flo's house on my block on Knox. It says, quote, genuine diamond in the rough. This classic home sits on an oversized 9,300 square foot lot in the heart of the rapidly gentrifying Barnum neighborhood. Sir, rapidly gentrifying? When? Who? Also, don't advertise about us like that. Like, who are you? I've only been over there for 15 of my 45 years in Denver, so I can't claim it as my own. But it just like, are we still doing this? What is it, 2012?
Yeah, it's a weird word to pick for a
rapidly
sale
gentrifying.
Pitch.
Awful. So to that guy. But my other fail was just Rupp's Drums closing.
Yeah.
41 years. An independent music store that not only sold drum equipment and drum books, and they did drum clinics. My brother took drum lessons there. Tons of folks I know taught drum lessons there. My husband took my son and went with our friend Sean King from Devachka, the other drummer, to go be sad together at the store the other day. But like, I just, it's just like, unfortunately, this story that's so American now is like, we just couldn't compete. And also the guy that purchased it, which is maybe, I think the third owner the third owner since Bob Rupp started it, was basically like, I got a better career opportunity to do something else. And while that store was world renowned, I mean, I know when musicians came through Denver, they would stop by there. It's just a sad story. It's a bummer. It's a loss for the community. I grew up a couple blocks from Rupp's Drums, and it's just sad to see it go.
Didn't they provide backline for like Westward Showcase and UMS for a long time?
I think they did. So Kalyn's talking about, they provided backline, which is like when a festival's going on, it basically is the drum setup for every drummer. So they just come and set it up, and then they can alter it per each set. But like, you only have 15 minutes between sets. So they backlined it. They set up all the drums for a lot of festivals here in Denver. And again, they employed a lot of drummers to be drummers, which was super cool. But just, they're open through, I think he said August 31st, but my husband Greg was down there this week and was like, it's already been, people came and bought everything.
Really?
Yeah. He's like, I asked him to get me a sweatshirt or a t-shirt. And he was like, they had one tiny baby t-shirt that we bought just to have. Like, I don't even know if it's going to fit.
Take it.
It was like, it might fit you or Montgomery, but like people really, really loved that place. And I'm sad to see it go. It was an institution. So RIP Rupp's Drums.
Let's talk about some good stuff. Wins of the week.
Yeah.
Kalyn, you want to start us off?
Sure. Well, shamelessly, my win of the week is we're taking over the Denver Art Museum tonight. And been working on it for almost 2 years, and it's gone through a lot of different phases and concepts, and pulled in my director friend Reagan Linton to hone in me and Greg's big ideas into like a real through line of a night.
What is the theme? What is the...
Yeah, the show is called A Real Spectacle, Fit In With the Freaks. Hiring almost 40 different people, mostly disabled performers. We'll be flipping the script on what it means to be a spectacle. People like me with disabilities are just a spectacle for living and existing and doing the mundane. But I'm an entertainer, and so it's been really hard for me to like do all these things and like dream up these big videos and shows. And then I had a video go viral of me just driving and eating, and it was a reminder that, like, yeah, the general population just like wants to see me do reality TV, which I have been approached a handful of times, and I'm not into that. But for a Denver art museum, there's something there, you know? So it's that we're going to have multiple station activities, spectacles happening where visitors are invited to be part of the spectacle. Go get your makeup done by our blind friends. Go get dressed. Go get a photo. Go get communion from a catheter. And then it's all leading up to the big event at the end of the night, which I can't spoil it, but you've got to be there.
Folks though coming through. Alice Wong,
Jello Biafra, the Dead Kennedys is going to be there. Majid Bardot from the UK, incredible drag queen performer, all around badass. Contributed some stuff. Galen Lee, the famous violinist. We got M.G. Bernard, who's a really incredible disabled performance artist here in town. A lot of locals, a lot of world-renowned people. It's a big one. It's the biggest show we've ever put together. So really excited, really stressed out. But
sure
it's almost here. It's here today.
Yeah.
Well, Friday night. Check it out, Denver Art Museum. And
6 p.m., 6 to 10.
Yes.
Denver Art Museum is sometimes a sponsor of the show.
Full disclosure,
they
they're
had
also
nothing to do with this win. But,
we love them.
Sounds like a cool event.
Yeah.
I'll go.
Go for it, Paul.
My win. You got to give it up. Even though he is now my nemesis in my campaign to bring back the bridge, pro-bridge, love the bridge, you got to give it up to Kyle Clark of 9 News, friend of the show. He took a stand on this thing. He had a very strong feeling about this pedestrian walkway the governor was proposing and how expensive it was going to be and how ugly he thought it was. And he sure convinced a lot of people that that was the right perspective, and he won. Yeah. And that is a big win, maybe one of the biggest wins of the year. I mean, it's in the running. We'll talk about that in December, the biggest wins of the year, but to be able to get a whole state government, I mean, the governor's biggest thing of the summer, to get that shut down, that's a huge win.
Yeah.
So Kyle Clark, shout out.
I mean, I love too that Kyle had an opinion. He had a feeling. He was like, this feels wrong. And then he went into the research and he was like, here's what I discovered of other reasons why I think this is a bad idea. I mean, obviously the financial part was easy, but then they talked to folks with disabilities about this argument that like it was going to make it more accessible, or the conversation about what will this do for protesting in the area? Like there was just a lot more. He helped create a bigger conversation than probably would have happened otherwise. And so I love Kyle for that too. Mm-hmm. Give him a lot of credit for opening the conversation up to something more complicated than just like, do we like a bridge or not? I mean, at the end of the day, that's kind of what it came down to.
I mean, it was a gut reaction for a lot of people.
I mean,
those renderings.
94% of people surveyed said they did not like it. That's
a big number.
You never see numbers like that in something.
You know how I knew it wasn't really about access?
How?
Because I got a call to be an artist, like a call to artists, and the language from a disabled person in office. And the language was so bad. In fact, of course, I didn't even read all the way through it, but my buddy Reagan, who did, was like the physically challenged, or like the
really ancient language.
The wording about like trying to represent people with disabilities was so dated and like so not written by a disabled
very red flag
person. I'm like, this is your access project? The physically handicapped?
Well, and even just thinking about what, again, Kyle uncovered that the estimate was given to the public was 20 million, and what he found was actually closer to 29 million. And I thought about like, what kind of accessibility upgrades could the Capitol get for $29 million?
An elevator.
Wow. So yeah, good job, Kyle.
Bree, how about you? What's your win?
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to something that UMS has been doing. I think for the last couple of years, they're partnering with Keep the Party Safe, and it's a campaign, and they conduct trainings for UMS volunteers and staff on how to recognize overdoses, administer naloxone, and hand out fentanyl testing strips. And it's just is really amazing. I love this intersection over the last couple of years of harm reduction and partying, because it's so often siloed into these different conversations. And by bringing it out into the open, it's like destigmatizing it, but also making all of these spaces more safe for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not stigmatizing people that might be using drugs, which are heightened during these times when we're all partying, like that's the reality. And I just love the transparency and the thoughtfulness around, like, how do we just keep people safe while we're having a good time?
So what are they doing?
So keep the party safe.
There,
yeah, they'll have naloxone, and they're training staff and volunteers of the UMS on how to administer it. So how to recognize the sign of an overdose, how to administer naloxone, and other steps that you can do to, and again, fentanyl testing strips, handing those out, making sure folks are testing their drugs, and just making it something that is not secret. Like, hey, you might be seeing somebody overdosing. Here's what you do. Or go find somebody who's a UMS employee or volunteer, and they'll help you.
And the impact of that, like outside of the UMS, I mean, because of them, I still have my Narcan and my training and, you know, being on Broadway, whether it's the UMS or not, like that's been really helpful for me to have all around the town.
Yeah, just the rest of the year too.
Yeah, exactly.
So
great win. Well, have fun this weekend, everyone, whether you're at the art museum or the last UMS.
Or both.
Or both.
Or both.
Be it both.
To both. That's the end of the show, everyone. Thanks for joining me, Kalyn, Bree.
Thanks for having me back.
Thanks, guys.
See you next time. That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. Our producers this week were Olivia Jewel Love, Selena C.A. Reynolds, Francisco Kilgore, and me, Paul Karolyi. Adam Sage edits the video you're watching right now for YouTube. We record at the Dude IDK Studios here in 5 Points. Peyton Garcia writes our morning newsletter, Hey Denver. Abby Madigan runs our social media. Bree Davies is our host. Our music is by Los Mocochetes with additional mixing by Tyler Lindgren. If you haven't already, subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at CityCast Denver, and tell... Who is the real estate agent?
Oh my God.
Matthew?
Martin Wilson?
Wilson?
Tell Martin Wilson of Homestead Real Estate.
Tell Martin Wilson about us next time you see him. And thanks to new neighbors who joined our membership program recently. You can sign up for yourself, get great perks by signing up at membership.citycast.fm. And the newsletter I talked about, learn more, all the other good stuff, denver.citycast.fm. See you next time, everyone.